Hello once again, and today we're going to be talking about homebrews. Yes, homebrews on retro systems. So these are systems that are about 30 to 40 years old, more from the 80s period, and we've had some really good ones. I'm going to be talking more about the Amstrad CPC, Commodore 64 and the Spectrum. I think I played more homebrew games on the Spectrum actually, and I've really played some good ones, and I've got some more coming up, which I've seen on YouTube channels people play. I think they've been absolutely brilliant. On the Amstrad CPC, what I think we had last year was Pinball Dreams, which was a recreation of the Amiga Classic game, and playing it on 8-bit technology was amazing. The colour, the sound, the music was brilliant. The frame rate of it, absolutely brilliant. It's just a pity we couldn't get these games that we have now back in the day. I think because there was more time constraints and things like that, everything had to be rushed to get it out on a certain date, a deadline, and it ruined a lot of games, i.e. the Amstrad CPC got crappy Spectrum ports. Well, it wasn't crap on the Spectrum, but it was crap on the CPC, because it's just slowed it down. I mean, a straight port from the Spectrum onto a CPC, the game was slower, a lot slower, so it wasn't as good to play. Yeah, but what I've seen, what I've played actually, is good, really good games. Retro Souls have been making some really good games. Older Tower was one I played. I played it on the Spectrum 1 to 8K. Then there was a Commodore 64 port, that was brilliant, and a Mega Drive port. Never had a Mega Drive back in the day. Never played on one, but yeah, Mega Drive version was good. Excuse me. Yeah, so what else? Yeah, there's loads, and then there's one that I played quite a while ago. It was a homebrew version of Street Fighter 2 on the Amstrad CPC, which was basically taking the code from the original Street Fighter game and turning it into Street Fighter 2. Ambitious, but the thing is, the original game was absolutely crap on the Amstrad CPC, and so they've taken that and put it as Street Fighter 2 with more fights and challenges and all that, like Street Fighter 2, but crap. It was crap, yeah. I think I had a few bigger YouTube channels comment on it, having a go at me, but no, I thought it was crap. Sorry. Yeah, but recently, like from 2015 to 2020, I've really played some good ones. There was one on the Amstrad CPC when you're in a submarine. That was really nice and colourful, and also we're getting some really good music, really pumping out some good music with that AY chip. Amazing. Not played many Amiga homebrew games yet. There must be a few. I think I did play a couple which were, they were good, but really didn't blow my socks off, to be honest with you, like the CPC and the Spectrum games. But they're all right. It's good to see that homebrew games are being made on the Amiga and the ST. I don't know about the ST, but I'm guessing there's ST. All these major 8-bit computers, even the Atari 8-bit computers. There was a version of Stunt Car Racer for the Atari 8-bits, and that was brilliant. And there was also a version of Stunt Car Racer on the BBC Master. The BBC Master also had a homebrew port of Stunt Car Racer, which was also brilliant. I think because now people have got more time and less pressured to get them out, because they do it in their spare time, and we're getting some really good quality games. As I said, back in the day, it was a rush to get these things out, for a deadline, i.e. Outrun on the Amstrad CPC, that should never have got released. That was just a con, and I fell for it because I paid $9.99 for it. Rubbish. Someone do a remake on the Amstrad CPC of Outrun, please. I would like to see a good version of Outrun on the CPC. We got a great version of Chase HQ back in the day on the CPC. Why not Outrun? I don't think there's an excuse there. Ocean, you know, did some quality programming on the CPC. Yeah, they chucked out some shit, but Chase HQ was one of the best versions. I would even go to say it was better than the Amiga version. Yeah, I think they pushed the limits to the CPC there, and it was brilliant. The frame rate was good, it was fast. Same with the Spectrum version, that was pretty good and all, unlike the Commodore 64 version. But I think a remake on the Commodore 64 deserves it, because I think that would have been a good version. It's a good racing games on the Commodore 64. I know people say, oh, the Commodore 64 can't do racing games. Yes, it fucking can. Pit Stop 2, Night Racer, Super Monaco Grand Prix, Outrun, and there's many more that I can't think of. He probably looked at the Commodore 64, played hard driving Chase HQ. Yeah, that was shit. That was absolutely shit, but the Amstrad also had some fair share of shit, like Outrun. Yes, and so obviously the Spectrum did and all. It's not fair to say they can't do racing games, is it? I played some good ones on all three systems. The Amiga, Outrun was shit on that. But then we got games like Lotus games, Jaguar XJ220, Formula 1 Grand Prix. Yes, which was the reason why I bought an Amiga. So yes, they can do racing games. I would like to see more homebrew racing games, actually. It'd be nice, because the racing games are my favourite, but I also like playing shoot 'em ups. I like playing all sorts of games, to be honest with you, platform games. But yeah, I've really been looking at the homebrew scene quite recently, because as I said, other YouTubers have been playing these homebrew games, and I'm going to have a go at that. And I've really found some really good ones, really brilliant games. I've really been enjoying them. Yeah, so I will be taking a look at more homebrew games. Definitely, because there's a lot of good ones out there which I am missing. Anyway, I thought I'll talk about this. Yeah, if you like homebrew games, check them out. If you've got a favourite system that's close to you, you know, what you had back in the day, yeah, download them, play them. The only thing is, obviously I do own an Amstrad CPC 464 and a Commodore 64, but the problem is I don't have a 1 to 8K upgrade or disk drive or anything like that. I don't really want to spend money, because it's quite an old computer. Yes, I know what people say it's better to play it on original hardware. I totally agree, but the thing is, emulation to me is more convenient for me. It works just as well as original hardware. You know, it runs the same. The only thing is the keyboards might be different. You know, you might have to map them a bit, but the controller works. So that's really all I care about. I can see the game, I can play the game on emulation. Emulation does not bother me. You know, I don't give a fuck what these snobby people say about you should be playing on original hardware only. You know, there's channels out there that dedicate to original hardware, which is fair enough, but I just don't like the snobby bastards that come out with, oh, you should only be playing it on original hardware, because not everyone can afford to buy these old retro systems, and not everyone has got the space, i.e. myself. So why should I go out and buy retro systems? I ain't going to do that. I've got emulation that does just well for me. Anyway, that's for me. I'm not speaking about all other people, because all other people are all different. We're all different at the end of the day. I'm just talking about personally myself. I prefer emulation. Well, I like playing original hardware. Yeah, but I've only got 2 systems, and I'm not going to spend money on making upgrades to them. emulation does well for me. And the amount of times I'm going to use those computers is pretty slim. It's just setting it up, you know, blah blah, doing this, doing that, yeah, getting the cassette out, waiting for it to load. Nah, emulation does well for me. Yeah, so I will be having a look at some more homebrew games. Yeah, the homebrew scene at the moment is absolutely brilliant. Definitely check that out if you like retro systems and, you know, playing these games. I think they deserve it. Anyway, I'm going to end this now. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time, and goodbye.